Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. This is Kat. Today, I want to share with you what I learned from my trusted immigration partner here in the US about a form called I-94. It is actually a very important document issued by the immigration agency to all people who enter the United States with temporary visas. And those include the most common B1, B2, the business or tourist visas, or F1 student visa, like what I had back when I studied in the grad school, or investor visas, such as the most common ones will be E2 investor visa or L1 intercompany transfer visa. So if you plan to come to the United States, or if you are already in the country, it is very, very important that you watch this video so that you know, first, what is Form I-94? Second, what is this form for? Third, how to obtain it every time you enter the United States. Of course, if you're interested in renewing or applying for a new visa, my immigration partner is more than happy to help you. He specializes in investor visa types such as E1, E2, and L1. I've left his contact information in the description box below and at the end of this video. Without further ado, let's get started. So the United States Customs and Border Protection Service, also known as CBP, issues Form I-94 to foreigners who are admitted to the United States at ports of entry, at borders, and at airports. The official name of this document is Form I-94 Arrival Departure Record. The I-94 is proof of your entry and legal status in the United States and includes the deadline you can legally remain in the United States. Previously, it was very easy to obtain and keep track of the Form I-94 at each entry because the CBP officer would give you the Form I-94 upon entering the United States at the airport or at the border. It was issued on a small white carton in the United States, and I'm showing you the example here. I-94 contain the following information. First, a check-in number. Second, the name of the visitor. Third, the date of entry. Fourth, the status which you entered, for example, B1, B2 for tourism or business, F1 for students, or E2 for investor, etc. And this is basically based on your visa. And lastly, but most importantly, the maximum date that you can remain in the US under that status. So every time when you enter the United States, it is very important that you review your Form I-94 to ensure that all the information is correct and to verify how long you can legally remain in the United States. And as I mentioned before, it was easy to review the I-94 because they gave you this document in the physical form and you could just verify the information on your I-94 immediately upon entry. Right? When you receive this little card, you can just quickly scan what's on the card and make sure everything is correct. But as of about 10 years ago, 2013, most check-in, check-out records are created electronically when the visitor arrives in the United States. Therefore, every time you enter the United States, it is very important that first, really check the stamp they put on your passport when you enter. Remember to check the entry date, the date classification, like I said, what visa do you have, and what does it mean with the visa you entered with. And again, the deadline they give you to be in the United States, and make sure that you have plans to leave before that date. Second, once you enter the United States, you must obtain your electronic Form I-94 online to ensure that all the information is correct and to be well aware of the deadline of your temporary legal stay in the United States. So next question, how to obtain your Form I-94 online? You can obtain your digital form by following these instructions as I'm showing you here. First, visit the official CBP website, and you can either search it on Google or use the link that I provide to you. Second, click on Get Most Recent I-94, and then enter your personal information, including your name, date of birth, passport number, and country that issued your passport. So that will be your home country. And then you click on Next. So it should generate your I-94. And once you obtain your I-94, remember to verify the information, print or save a digital copy to have with you during your trip within the United States. Since this is the proof of immigration status in the United States and the deadline, you have to remain in the country. And remember that, CBP officers are also human beings, so they can make mistakes when entering your information onto the records, which is why it is so important that you verify them yourself and let the CBP know if there's an error in the data. On the CBP website, you can also find your history of entries and departures to the United States. This is the same website I just showed you. And if you click View Travel History, you can view all your past travel history and, from and to the United States and confirm all the data correct. It is common for the records not to be complete, but it is always good to verify so that you notice if there's anything out of ordinary, or in case you need your entry and exit history in the future. For example, when you apply for a new visa, if you remember on the DS-160, it always asks you, when and for how long have you come to the United States in the past 5 years. So my immigration partner has seen several cases where the information on I-94s were incorrect, or their entries were not even in the system. So here is an important note. If you're unable to obtain your I-94 by entering your personal information, try a few following tricks. First, check your passport information that you entered. So for example, if you have your visa on your old passport, try to put your new passport first and then your expired passport number, since your visa might be associated with different passports. Second, try omitting your middle name or last name, as occasionally the system does not include your full name. If you're not successful, we suggest trying just various combinations of your name. So for example, first your full name, right? So first, middle, and last name. And then you try to remove your middle name. And if you have multiple last names, try to remove your second or third last names and only with your first name and the first last name. Just try different combination of it, and if you're still not successful, you may have to inform the CBP agency so that they can correct your immigration records. So another thing I want to talk about is driver license in the United States, because it's kind of just another form of ID to prove your legal status in the US. So you can also try to apply for a state driver's license, which could be issued before the expiration date of your I-94. It is nice to have a driver license, as if you fly domestic, you don't really need to show your passport at the airport. Driver license within the United States is enough. So in the United States, driver license are issued by each state. Some states are very flexible and some might be more strict. So it will just depend a lot on which state you're in, whether or not you can obtain a driver's license. If you have a driver license from your home country, you might want to check with the state office if you can just get a US driver license directly. Or you might need to just take an exam without all the studying and the courses in order to get a license. And all of this, I'm trying to bring you a very important point, is do not lose your legal status. Once you obtain your I-94, it is important to review it in detail and print it or have a digital copy as proof of your temporary legal presence in the United States. Without a doubt, the most important thing is to ensure that you leave the country before the expiration date of your I-94. Or you can request an extension of your status or change of status to remain legally in the US. Just make sure you meet the requirements of the extension or change of status requests. A very common way of change of status is, let's say someone come in with B1, B2, and then they switch to F1, or they come in with F1 and they switch to H1B, right? So those are very common among our immigrants. Of course, if you're interested in renewing or applying for a new visa, here is the contact information of my immigration partner. If you like such contents, please don't forget to subscribe and like this video. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you in the next one.